Join me in welcoming our guest teacher this evening, the Venerable Hogen Roshi, who's going to give the Dharma talk. I'm going to allow him to self-introduce.
So before we begin, let's take a few minutes and just take some deep breaths, bring yourself into the present moment. Let go of whatever you were just doing. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. Thank you all for inviting me to come speak. Thank you, Venerable Kozen, for kindness and generosity and the seed of keeping this whole place thriving and growing. It's a lovely mix of human beings, a lovely mix of people from beginning, middle, and end of the Dharma spectrum. There is so much wisdom in the room. So many people have so much life experience. So many people have such a rich offering and understanding already that, in a way, anything I say is redundant. So bear with me for a minute. The most important thing in Buddhism, I feel, is to verify the teachings. So we hear all kinds of things, but until we have verified them in our own being, with our own direct experience, they're still just good ideas. So that's why we have practice. We have practice so that we can sit down, calm the mind, use our mindfulness, look directly, and see for ourselves, is what the Buddha is teaching, is that accurate? Is that true? We verify it. So anything I say this evening, I invite you to verify it and see whether it's off in any way. It is so easy to think that we have we understand things because we have a cognitive understanding, because we've read things, because we're really smart. But to actually make it visceral, make it embodied, is the essence of practice, is the direction of practice. Now, if you think about, let's start off with the Four Noble Truths, which you've heard over and over again. When I talk about these, I like to start with the Third Noble Truth. Third Noble Truth is liberation is possible. Liberation, nirvana, is possible. And so let's look at nirvana in the sense of liberation right now. Let's look at nirvana in the sense of freedom. Let's look at nirvana in the sense of no obstacles, of the spacious, generous, aware mind. If you think about each of your lives and what it took for you to arrive at this place at this moment, you are a total miracle. It took everybody who fed you when you were a kid and your parents who raised you and all the work that you did and all the cars that you've driven. It took the whole world for you to be you. Not only it takes the whole world for you to be you, it takes all your history for the last, 300,000 years. Couples had to meet at exactly the right time in order to have progeny, in order to have the next generation. So the fact that we are here is a complete miracle. Miracle. And if you think of the probability of you being you, and you being sitting right here, and you with the mind and history you have, it is zero. Virtually zero, except here we are. Here we are. So the first noble truth starts off with the third noble truth, the way I look at it, starts off with the sacredness of this life, the sacredness of, it's easy to say it's sacred when you're looking at a beautiful view like this and you're sitting in a wonderful, pristine environment. But in a way, everything is sacred. Everything has a history. Everything is interwoven. Everything is alive. So the third noble truth is to actually recognize the aliveness, the tingling aliveness that is always present in each of us. There is something tinglingly alive that is aware of thought, that is aware of motion, that is aware of sound, that hears. It is visceral. That is aware of your personality, that's aware of your job, that's aware. So that awareness, tingling aliveness of awareness, is in a way beyond the personality. Tingling aliveness of awareness is something that we are inherently embodied with, endowed with. Tingling aliveness of awareness, the sacredness of this life. Can't emphasize it enough. Each person's life is so much a miracle. Now, the Buddha said, and he started off not with the third noble truth, but he started off with the first noble truth. And what happens, we have this sacred life, this sacred breath, this sacred moment, this sacred environment that is the result of all these intertwinings. What happens? What happens? What happens to our respect, appreciation, our love? What happens to it? Well, from the Buddha's perspective, it's clinging. We start craving. We want the world to be the way we want it to be. We want myself to be the way my thoughts are should be. We want, and the very craving that we are constantly wanting things to be my way, my way. I know how the world should be. I know how politics should go. I know how the environment should be. I know. And I'm craving and grasping and hoping that somehow I can manipulate other people and things into agreeing with me. And so many people's lives is a struggle for agreement. I am right. It's the root of suffering. It's the root of dukkha. The root of craving that reality, it's my idea of it, and not I'm trying to really align myself with the sacredness of all things. So if we look at reality, it has certain qualities. It has a quality of everything that is born dies. Everything that comes together comes apart. Everything changes. Everything is impermanent. These are just qualities of reality. They have nothing to do with us personally, nothing to do with our particular mind. They're qualities of reality. And so we practice our breath, we practice sitting down, we practice breathing, we practice being mindful, so that we can see directly for ourselves everything is impermanent. It's the quality of things. Now, it's easy to see everybody's, excuse me, I forgot your name. Prashad so eloquently talked about the challenges of being a human being. And yet, everything that comes together comes apart. That's just the way it is. And it never came together in the first place. It's all flowing. So the way I like to think about this level of reality is it's flow. Everything is flowing. The sky is flowing. Our thoughts are flowing. The environment is flowing. The earth is flowing. Our thoughts are flowing. Flowing. Nothing stays the same. But the small mind, the ego, gets in and says, well, according to me, here's how the world should work. According to me, I just manipulate people to agree with me, then there'll be no suffering. According to me, if I just got, guess what? It doesn't work. So much of, I think, our contemporary culture is trying to manipulate other people to agree with us, agree with me. Whether it be good things or bad things, whether you're in politics or you're in the spiritual realm. We're trying to make reality agree with my small-minded, self-centered thoughts, with my conditioned identity. Not only do we fail, but we create friction. That friction hurts. That friction. So part of what we do with practice is we sit down and we begin to align ourselves with reality. Align ourselves with reality. I want me to lower this a little bit. Maybe that's better. Okay? Now he'll turn it down and I'll have to do too much. That's the way it goes.
Well, I'm turning off the wired microphone and I think that is the feedback that is on. Okay, go ahead.
Everything should be perfect now. Right? Hopefully it's all perfect.
It'll be real.
It'll be real, perfect, no friction, that's the way things are. In reality, I think that's the way things are. In reality, things are frictionless. Karma just is karma. The whole world operates with karma. Causes and conditions just keep unfolding. What if the whole world were just doing everything right? It was perfect. Just karma unfolded. And the only sticking place in the entire universe was right here. What if we looked at the universe as everybody else is free, everybody else is wise, everybody else is doing the very best they can, and the universe is unfolding, and the only place that I can actually look at, the only place I can actually make a real change, the only place that I can actually reduce suffering, wherever we stand, wherever we sit. Now, if we look at the causes of suffering, causes of the Second Noble Truth, there is a way It's karma, it's reality, yeah. Spring comes, winter comes, etc. Our thoughts about should and ought, right and wrong, our thoughts constantly beleaguering us, bothering us, our thoughts constantly judging. The internal critical voice is just thoughts. It creates hell. The internal angry voice of I am right and those people I don't like should die creates hell. Our thoughts are the one place that we can actually turn to without trying to manipulate the world to be the way I think it should be. The one place that we can actually turn to and look and find not only the source of suffering, but we can find liberation right there. When we look at the nature of thought, it has several qualities. If you look at right now, if you look at your mind is thinking, your mind is flittering. So that's the first quality, is it always changes. You can't hold on to a single thought. For example, if you want to just hold on to the word one, you can't do it. You might say one, but you can't hold on to a single thought. You can't find the source of thought. If you look and say, where are my thoughts located? We all are thinking, obviously, but where are they located? We can't find a link. We can't find a location. Where do they go when they're in thought? You look at thought very carefully, you watch, it pops out of nowhere. It has no root. There's no source. It just pops out of nowhere. When we believe our thoughts, especially our conditioned thoughts, the way we grew up, the way that we were conditioned to like, dislike, and the people we were conditioned to judge, the people, things in ourselves we were conditioned to like and dislike, we grab a hold of those, we cling to those. Beginning of war. So everyone is pretty familiar with the inner critical voice. That voice in you that sort of nags and says you're not being skillful, you're being a failure, or you're inadequate, or whatever it happens to be. If we look at that voice, we ask, who is it talking to? Who is the inner critical voice talking to? We can't find anybody. It's not talking to anybody. It's just karma. It's just floating thoughts that are unfindable in a sea of mystery. I'm just rambling here, so if you have particular questions, I can easily shift gears. The foundation of this is you're already free. You're already free. We are already free. Free to be this unique bundle of stuff that we are. Free to be this unique coming together for a few minutes. We're already free. What if we started our spiritual practice not with, I got to get something, I got to do something, I got to make something, I got to change something. What if we started our spiritual practice with the deep faith, with the recognition, with the realization, right here, right now, it's a sacred moment. You're already free. The foundation of the practice is watching that freedom move and flow. Watching that freedom. And its freedom has one purpose. And that's to help others. Because we're not separate. Because when we are free, we are able to actually see the nature of mind. We realize it does not belong to me. My mind and the world's mind are not two things. So, the mandate of practice is find out, realize our freedom through all the different tools that we know, and then turn that kindness, turn that attention to be a benefit to the world, whatever way we do. Now if we are craving, dukkha, suffering. I don't like the word suffering, I like the word friction. Looks much better. Liberation, craving, clinging, clutching, demanding, defining. Leads to friction, leads to we're already free. It's very simple. Let's unfold it a little bit more. When we talk about the third noble truth, we say we're aligning with reality. Now, there are three or four principles in Buddhism that are hallmarks of the Buddhist teaching, hallmarks of reality. Nicca, anatta, dukkha. First is flow. If we are aligned with reality, we are aligned with flow, nothing is stuck. We are never stuck. Our bodies are constantly moving, our blood is constantly moving, our thoughts are constantly moving, our lymph is constantly moving, our muscles are constantly moving, the wind is constantly moving, the earth is constantly moving. Everything is flow. Everything is flowing. Everything is flowing. Every dogma has a flow to it. Every idea, every government has got a flow to it. Every situation that exists in the world has a flow to it. We're never stuck. We may have a particular government that we feel is unskillful. It will change, guaranteed. We'll be more stuck. And that too will change. We'll be more stuck, and that too will change. We're never stuck. It's always changing. So the first level of reality when we are resting in the sacredness of this moment is to recognize that it's dynamic, it's alive, it's engaged, it's a relational thing because we are not located inside and our life is not located outside. It's always relational. Flow is always relational. The worldly winds, always relational. We have good times and bad times. Things are easy and things are hard. We prosper, we have deficiencies, and people like us, they don't like us. Always flowing, just the way it is. There's freedom in that flow. Anatta, no self. It's a very easy one. If we turn right here, right now, and you turn your mind, who is it that's hearing? Who is it that's thinking? Where is the location of that hearing? Where is the location of that thinking? The cognitive mind might say, because we had some science, it's in the brain. The cognitive mind might say, the auditory nerve or something. But if we look directly at experience, this being that we are so convinced is me, cannot find a root. Can't find a root. You can scan through and say, where am I? Where am I? Or another way of doing this is we call this a hand. And we call this a nose. We call these ears. We call this, in my case, a Raksu. We call this a Buddha. But the one who is called by your name, where's that located? The one who is called by your name. Someone says, Tiffany. What is it that responds? It's unfindable. We have to verify that. That's where practice comes in. We have to verify that everything is flow. We have to verify that thoughts come out of nowhere. We have to verify. We have to know for ourselves it is true. Because if somebody else knows it, it doesn't do us any good. And when it gets down to we are really sick, or we have a relationship problem, or a job problem, if somebody else knows the truth and we don't, it's of no benefit. So we have to verify. We have to verify that this particular sacred moment, this particular sacred collection, which I call me, which is the result of thousands and thousands of years, which is the result of my whole history, which is the apex, it's a temporary miracle. I can't hold on to it. I can't find the essence. Yet, here it is, alive, vivid, dynamic. Alive, vivid, dynamic. So if we get too philosophical, nothing exists, it's all empty, everything's flow. But it may be true at some level, but there's also this level. We're alive, right here. it's a mystery. So when we look at anatta, no self, we look, it's a mystery. We're mysteries. We're mysteries. How do in the world did I end up in this particular position giving a talk to you? I don't know. Stumbled into it. Nietzsche, anatta, dukkha. In the Mahayana, the Theravada school, they say the three seals, Nietzsche, anatta, dukkha, suffering. Suffering is one of the qualities. Friction is one of the qualities of reality. The Mahayana school says that, well, there are actually four. We can look at it from the perspective of loving kindness and the wholeness of things. So that is that Nietzsche, anatta, sukha, liberation, nirvana is also part of it. So I like to look at the liberation, nirvana part. That the hallmark of reality, as I mentioned before, is we are free. Things are constantly flowing and we're never stuck. Hallelujah. Verify that with practice. Verify that by sitting down, stilling the mind that is just constantly seething with ideas and shoulds and oughts and beliefs. We begin to either dismantle them, or we sit down, we begin looking at the source, looking at the aliveness that is here right now. One thing that's always interesting for me to know, I'm 76, I was on stage. We are just as totally alive right now as we were when we were 20. We can't do the same thing. We're always totally, completely alive. Always. You can verify that. You can't, I can't go snowboarding. I'm not going to go scuba diving probably, but 100% alive. When we're 100% alive, we begin to realize, oh, by looking at this source of life and realizing 100% alive, 100% alive, 100% a mystery, 100% alive, we will never know death. We will never know death. It look like the outside, like things die, but from your vantage point, you'll never know death. You'll only see the perspective of life. You'll only see. You give life, take it away. It's how we view the world. You're totally alive. And so that's what we're verifying when we do Zazen, however we're meditating. Verify we're going into stopping the mind and the breath and the body, becoming embodied, being aware of it's right here, flowing, changing. Sorry to repeat myself. I can take this lots of different directions. Anybody have any comments or questions, anything you'd like me to bring up?
The microphone so other people can hear.
Okay, so the microphone is being raced at lightning speed in your direction. Little by little, step by step, moment by moment. Yes, time is unfolding. Yes, here it comes. Here it comes. Yes, yes. Okay, maybe?
No, it's getting the microphone.
Here we are. All right. Who had the question? The future always comes. Actually, it's always here. Yes, please.
Thank you, Hogen Roshi. Earlier this week, one of the members of our Sangha, our Zoom meeting, mentioned that his newborn, when he looks in her eyes, she's there and just there, nothing more, just there. Can you comment on this, please?
It's wonderful.
Is this what we want to go back to?
So I think it's important that we touch the timeless, that we touch the boundarylessness, that we recognize it. But we're mature adult people. We have to. There's one of our chants says, "A baby babbles, is anything said or not?" And, babies are just as they are. They're whole and complete. They're part of the universe. But we're mature people. We have to learn. We have to learn how to use these particular bodies, learn how to help. So no, we're not going to try to become infantile again. stupid. But to know the timeless, to be able to function with this mature adult mind, that's a different ballgame. It takes, 70 years, 80 years to be able to function like you function.
But is that the state we want to get back to?
So let me talk about kind of different levels of insight. The mind is clear. Let me stop. We're not thinking. We're not discriminating. We're feeling, totally feeling. You can actually be in a state where boundaries begin to dissolve. These boundaries are cognitive. Mind makes all the electromagnetic field into particles, into things. We can go into a state where we can begin to touch the tingling aliveness of all things. We can recognize that everything is alive. Everything has that aliveness because it's all part of me. We can recognize it, we can know that. We can know the whole universe is nothing but generosity. We know that, but it doesn't function. So if we do know that, we have to still be able to function. It has to function. It's just sitting on a mountain, paying attention to our navel, and not actually giving life to it. It's kind of dead. It's a kind of dead state from at least a Zen Buddhist perspective. It's a dead state. So we're not trying to be dead. We're trying to, the root of all things is this vital life energy, the sacredness of all things. Man, I want to use this life 100%. I want to put my life on the line. I want to be present. We can only be present in the way our particular karma has been shaped. So each of us has things that we can offer. So we need to know timeless. We need to know the deathless. We need to know that we have direct experience, so we're not just talking from our head. It's got to function. It functions in relationship. So if you're blissed out and have no relationships, I think it's a good state. It's actually regarded as one of the meditation sicknesses.
I have a question about karma.
The microphone is being raced to you as fast as humanly possible. There it goes. There it comes.
You just said about karma, so I had a question about karma. So, are we, each of us are born with the karma that we're given? Is that the correct way to say it?
Well,
we live that karma and we make mistakes, choose wrong paths, choose right paths, karma driven. I don't know if I'm asking you.
sure. This is a whole rich collection of questions around that thing. Do we have free will or not? Is it my choice to raise my arm right now, or was that a predetermined thing based upon the causes and conditions that led to this? I mean, these are all really important questions, I think. It is the case, anybody who's been around newborns, know they don't come in blank. Not a tabula rasa. They come in, newborns have their own personality. The first child might have a certain personality, the second one's different, the third one is different. All have their own personality, they all have their own constellation. So in a way we can say that's karma, have that particular propensity. But what we do with something, whether we are turning our attention to something that is separating, isolating, and particle it, or turning our attention towards whole and loving and kind, that moment of karma is something that begins to shape the way of our lives. It begins to shape how we evolve. Now,
Can we change that karma? I mean, can we?
all of Buddhism is based upon changing that karma. All of Buddhism has said that there is liberation, and you're causing yourself to suffer, and you can change that. You can see through that. Now, the number one tool, the very most essential tool we have, is mindfulness. The most essential tool is actually paying attention. And the most essential thing we pay attention to is, where does our mind go? Where does our mind go? So when we're looking at how does our mind go, does it go toward harmony, clarity? Does it go toward kindness, and love, or does it go towards self-centeredness and separation? That moment of karma begins to shape our lives. It's one way of looking at it. There are other ways of looking at this. The causes and conditions are all simultaneously. Cause and the condition come at the same time. So in a way, we're playing out a whole field of mystery. Karma is an interesting subject, so let's not go into it more. Well, we have to say at the gross level, karma is true. As the first chapter of the Dhammapada says, when someone with a cloudy mind, suffering follows them as like a cart follows the ox. I can't. Writer people can. Basically, how our mind is creates suffering or not. So if our mind is clinging to thoughts of separation, anger, greed, suffering follows that. Our mind goes the other way. That's the most essential piece of karma. Else? All right, so back to practice. Okay, one more here.
Thank you for what you're giving us. You said alive.
Alive.
Relative to where you were, I
There is
believe,
no
talking
opposite.
about death.
There is no opposite.
No opposite of
There
alive.
is no opposite to the life I'm talking about.
So I'm sitting with that, and to verify that, I'm going to pass. But I'm considering what you're saying.
So
I haven't heard that teaching though. Alive. So I'm
Yeah.
sitting with that.
I'm going to die.
Yeah.
I'm going to die, no doubt about it. You're going to die, no doubt about it. All things pass, all things change. What I'm talking about is at the very root, at the root of our awareness, at the root of our life, there is a tingling aliveness that is timeless, birthless, and is deathless.
So you're speaking of awareness itself.
Well, might put it in those terms, but it's
I'm just trying to put it into terms to.
So
please.
If you are aware of awareness, you drop everything else, and you say, what is left? If I'm aware of awareness, what's left right there? You'll encounter something. If you look deeply on this body, those of these senses, these sensations, and you look deeply into each sensation, look deeply into each sensation, you'll find that at the root of each sensation is the timeless presence. If we really, truly pay attention to time itself, we are no other than in the present moment. We have never been anywhere else. We've never been any other time. And if we really look at that and think, oh my goodness, I can't fall out of the present. It's impossible. I can't fall out of the universe. Oh my God. Wow. It's pretty cool. It's true. So verify it. I'm just over here babbling. Verify it. And that's why we have practice. Sit down, look at the nature of mind, we do whatever practices you're doing, so that we can find liberation, so we can recognize and know liberation directly. Buddha didn't just hypothesize that liberation is something out there in the future. Buddha says liberation is possible. And he laid the Eightfold Path, Sila Samadhi Prajna, way of doing it. We'll talk about that tomorrow.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I think one more question over here and then we'll wrap up.
You used the word verify a lot, and I would like you to talk a little more about that, because when you look at the mind, the danger is that it becomes philosophical or theoretical, and that's not what you're talking about when you sit here. Can you speak more to that?
Yeah, that's good.
Did you get it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So I do not know that Kozen is sitting in this room. I want to verify it. Wow. That's what I mean by verifying, is you turn and you look and you say, oh, this is direct experience. Nature of thought is it constantly changes. We can think anything. We can look at things any side. So that is the way we can verify things.
So the conclusion is also that my own thoughts are not true.
You know, that's actually quite fortunately true.
That's maybe a good thing.
we keep hoping they're true, and you know,
Okay.
they're ephemeral, they're temporary. Even if we say Kozan is there, he may have left by now. My thought may be old. He may have melted. My thought about him being there is just a thought now. Verify. We verify with our body. Verify with our experience. We verify with our presence. Verify this way. We verify things. We verify things by direct, vivid experience. We verify there's a sound. It's gone.
But not with our thoughts. Okay, got it.
You know, thoughts are useful. If you got a problem to solve, hey, this place, 10,000 thoughts here, 1 million thoughts here. Great, it's problem solving. That does not solve the fundamental problem of human